Here, I thought I was done talking about the Cowboys. Listen, it's 2025, and if you plan on being outside at all, you are going to have to learn to exercise a little bit of nuance, right? Operate from the standpoint that sometimes two things can be true, even if they are opposing things. And this past week, Jerry Jones has went and sat down and talked to pretty much anybody that would let that old man sit and talk. And the more he talked, the more I realized I was annoyed talking about the Cowboys, and I was hoping Jerry would just shut the fuck up and pay Micah. But the more he started talking, the more I started to analyze the situation a little bit differently. And I've come to the conclusion that Jerry Jones is right. And I think I understand what he's trying to convey to the media. So if you give me, 15 to 20 minutes, I will try to break this down in a way that average people can understand, that's not 95 years old or already sitting on like $30 million if you're in the case of like Micah or something like that. And we'll try to go through that and figure out what's going on. It's Run 'em Daily. I am your host, Harvey Banks. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you may listen to your favorite podcast, first of all, thank you. Go ahead and give this a 5-star rating. Leave a review. Share it with a friend. Let these tech companies know that this is the type of content that you like to consume on a Tuesday afternoon when, you was kind of hoping that this Dallas Cowboys situation would resolve itself so you could get to talk about real football. But here we are. He's got to figure it out, man. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. It doesn't matter what's going on. Jerry gonna make sure you talking about the Cowboys. Let's start here. Jerry Jones goes on with Stephen A. Smith, with his favorite Cowboy ever, Michael Irvin, and essentially in real time does what I would advise nobody to do. And that's in the middle of a negotiation, go around these places talking about it publicly and giving out actual information that could either come back to hurt you or, just not look good in the court of public opinion. But Jerry moves by his own, beat in his own drum. He is a billionaire. He has took the Cowboys from what they were to what they are, which is just a really, really powerful marketing machine because they're not really winning championships or anything like that. That's a whole, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop taking digs at the Cowboys. My cousin Scooter probably listening to this, punching the air right now. Look, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. I promise I'm coming with some levity to this situation. So yes, Jerry goes to sit down with Michael Irvin, sits down with Stephen A. Smith. I'm not sure which was which on the quotes that he gave, so that's not important though. Essentially what Jerry says is that he got with Micah in March, and the two of them talked about him being a Cowboy for a very long time. Micah talked about, I do want to be a Cowboy for a very long time, but I want to be a very rich Cowboy for a long time. Jerry's like, okay, I'm with you there too. What are we talking? And according to Jerry Jones, Micah came at him with a number. Jerry Jones was hesitant at first and then met him at that number. So at that point, Jerry then tells Micah, hey, go ahead and take this back to your agent. Let's get this deal finalized. Nothing much comes of it. Doesn't think anything. In Jerry Jones's mind, the negotiation is done. It's just the fine print has to get done on the back end. But I'm Jerry Jones and I'm a billionaire. Why the fuck would I concern myself with such little things like paperwork, right? So fast forward to spring training. Jesus Christ. Fast forward to training camp and ta-da. It's an issue again that, Micah is saying he wants a new contract. The rest of the sports world is like confused because there's never been an easier decision to pay a guy, right? Micah Parsons is 26 years old, going into the prime of his career. He is a premier, top level pass rusher, and you don't just make those or get the opportunity to buy those every day, So this one should have been a no-brainer. The deal not getting done was like, okay, this is getting weird, but it's going to get done. Micah Parsons then comes out and says, hey, we never negotiated for a contract. We talked in March, but my agent wasn't present. So that's not really a negotiation. So I still don't have a contract and I want my money. But then he goes on to allude that like the Cowboys are refusing to talk to his agent, which is a different weird little wrinkle at the time. I read that as I was like, that's strange. Even like I couldn't come up with a logical solution or a logical thing in my brain to make me understand why Jerry Jones and the Cowboys wouldn't even engage with his agent. So I was like, that's strange. Still, the deal's going to get done. It's Micah Parsons, right? And then at the time, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I thought for a second, I was like, you know what? The deal is done already. They're just going to drag this along because they might not like that a lot of eyes are in Cleveland right now instead of in Dallas. So the drama has a currency of its own that Jerry might want. And as the weeks kind of went along, I fell off of that bandwagon a little bit. Jerry doing these interviews last week, essentially saying that Micah Parsons' agent told the Cowboys and Jerry Jones to shove that offer up their asses. When he said that, I didn't think he meant literally that's what he said. I think what he was saying was it got to the agent and the agent basically said, we didn't negotiate this. I don't know what this is. You can keep that. And I believe that's what happened. And I believe this is where we begin to uncover the first mistake by Micah Parsons, right? Because I believe it was Dan Graziano on Get Up on ESPN was the one that said, Jerry Jones has a history of negotiating contracts this way directly with players. Normally how it goes is Jerry wants to meet with the player, talk to them face to face. They do dinner or something like that. They start to discuss, is this a road that we both mutually want to go down? When both decide yes, and then like general numbers are spoken, it's boom. Okay, that works. Go to your agent. Then the agent gets together with the Cowboys and they figure out the deets of that. I do fully believe that this is how Jerry Jones does business. I do fully believe that everybody else stops it right there, goes, gets the agent. Agent comes back in. Maybe agent has already had conversations with like Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, those types of people. And so everybody was always on the same page with this is what we're looking for and this is what we're going to do to go about getting it. I think in this case, I don't think it was. I think Micah had a conversation with Jerry and Micah knew how much money he thought he was worth based on what other guys were getting or projected to get. And I think Micah went in without the knowledge of his agent and had these conversations with Jerry, and they came to something that Micah was like, yeah, I like that. And I think Micah possibly then went back to the agent and was like, hey, kind of negotiated the deal already. We got what we wanted. And the agent was like, that's not what you do. That's not your job. What do you mean you negotiated the deal? Or even worse, the agent was just blindsided by an offer from the Cowboys when he didn't even know that they were negotiating yet. And this is why I believe that this is the version of story that actually happened. So we hear everything that Jerry Jones is saying, right? Jerry Jones is out publicly everywhere just saying, hey, I understand that when I say I negotiated directly with Micah, most people probably aren't going to understand what that means. And it's probably going to come off like a CBA violation, which it still actually may. But this is how we do things. If Jerry Jones and Micah did have the conversation and did talk numbers and he did send the offer to the agent, I still believe that that's still actually within protocol because the agent has the right to then reject that offer and change things and resubmit it back to them. It sounds like the agent was so pissed off in this situation, maybe not at Jerry, at Micah, or a combination of both. Like the agent, who's a really respected agent, felt disrespected. So then he is like, nah, we not negotiating. So I don't know what this paperwork is. Y'all can keep that. So again, the reason I think that's the way it went is I think about everything that Micah has said in this time period. He at first came out and basically just said, I did have talks with Jerry Jones. He tried to negotiate with me without my agent present. They continued to try to do the negotiations with no agent present, and a deal wasn't made. Then he kind of went quiet, went silent. And Micah's got a podcast that's popping out here. Didn't go on to publicly refute anything. But again, at first, I still didn't think that was a bad move, simply because that's not necessarily what you would want to do if you're actually in the middle of a negotiation. I would probably just keep my mouth shut too. So he doesn't say much. Then Jerry Jones goes and says these very direct things that this is what happened. This is why I'm upset. This is why a deal hasn't gotten done. And that's an opportunity for Micah to come out and refute that. Now we have direct allegations that Micah can come out and say, that's not true, or that's not true. He never did. All he really came out and said was gave some weird cryptic scripture on a social media post, which made me be like, so you can't say it didn't happen because it probably happened, but you don't want to say nothing because as it stands, you've got the public on your side. And I do understand that position. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I just think that you played the situation wrong, Micah. I still think you're going to get what you wanted. I still think you're going to be a Cowboy. But I think all the discourse around Jerry Jones actually breaking the rules, being petty and doing all these things, I think it just comes with a little nuance. Yes, he might have broke the rules. Yes, they might have actually negotiated. Micah may have told him numbers and said things and they agreed upon it. But Jerry also could be telling the truth that I thought the deal was done, hence sent it to Micah's representation, and they told us to stick it up our ass. The sent it to Micah's representation part is the part that keeps getting blown over, and I don't understand why. Like, literally, it's not like Micah was going to sign the deal without the agent seeing it. In everyone's version of the story, it gets to the agent, and the agent says no. I'm guessing the agent was caught off guard, because if Jerry Jones is publicly saying, I was willing to meet Micah where he wanted to be, then I doubt the deal or the offer was that bad or that disrespectful that we get to a place where we're at today. All in all, I do think that a deal will be done. I don't know if it gets done before week 1. It should, and it may. It's just one of those things that I just hope it doesn't sour the relationship between Micah and the Cowboys forever. Because here's a couple things. Jerry Jones, y'all can say Micah Parsons has the leverage all you want to. Jerry has the leverage. Micah's got 3 years left on his deal. He is not going to miss football. I believe they said for every game he misses, it's like $1.2 million lost. That's crazy. He's not going to do that. We all know that's just not going to happen. So something's going to get done. You don't do a deal this year and you decide to play it out. You play it out at your current rate. Then you probably get franchise tagged. We don't want that. I don't think the Cowboys want that. A deal's going to get done. But this is a good lesson in communication and intention. And also from the standpoint of us, the fans, don't be so quick to judge a situation. Sometimes it takes time to reveal nuance.